in here. I saw the weight. It's like 300 pounds. Where'd you go? 375 pounds. Here we go. Ooh. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be doing a test / review on a 14 kilowatt hour Rhino battery from Big Battery. All right, so before we get too far into the video, this video is probably going to be really long. Nothing really I can do about that. There's just a lot of information and stuff that I'll probably want to share. So if you need to skip around, there's going to be chapters in the timeline down below. If you're not familiar with my channel, I'm kind of big into the batteries. I love batteries. I like to power my house off-grid if I'm able to. I don't know, it's kind of ingrained into my soul that I cannot lose power. Or maybe I'm just preparing for the end of the world. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but if you are, you came to the right place. Now, a few quick things for that. I don't have my entire house off-grid. There still is a few items on the grid, and that is my stove, my dryer, and my air conditioning. And that is basically because I don't have the battery capacity to do that. Hopefully with the Rhino battery, I can move those items to the off-grid mode. Basically what I am looking for is a battery that I can power my house 24/7. You basically recharge during the day and power your house off solar, and then after the sun goes down, you power your house off the battery. That's basically what I'm looking for. Hopefully we can get that out of this battery. I guess we will find out once the video is done. So stick with me and we will see what happens. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is go over the battery specs, then we'll head over to the website, check out the price and all that kind of stuff. We'll hook it up to my house and I guess live like normal. Oh, I forgot to mention this is a lithium iron phosphate battery. It is one of the safest batteries around. Last year, I physically punctured these cells and they didn't explode, they didn't get hot. They still worked with a spade bit punched right through them. So they are the safest battery really that I know of. All right, anyway, it does come with its own user manual and installation guide, which has all the specs in it, which I'll just read to you real quick. The operating voltage range is 44.3 to 58.8. It comes with an advanced smart BMS with Bluetooth. Your charge and discharge protection is set at 3.8 volts per cell, and the low cutoff is 2.7 volts. Maximum continuous charge and discharge current is 175 amps, or 7,500 watts. And you can also have a peak discharge of 350 amps for 6 seconds. That's to like start them big loads. Of course, it comes with short circuit protection, you know, balancing and all that kind of stuff. It comes with temperature protection. The normal operating temperature range is -20°C to 65°C. So if you're in a cold climate like I am, I mean, obviously I'm not going to put this outside or anything like that, but you're good. You could probably put it in your garage and you'll be just fine. And these also come with an active balancer. So the measurements are 43 inches wide by 4.5 inches thick, damn, and 26 3/4 tall. Obviously on the front they have their Big Battery logo. On the back side there's really not much to look at except for the mounting rails, welds on each side, and then there's a couple beads, you know, randomly throughout the whole thing on both rails. On the left side there's a green light and one of the rope handles. On the right side we have another green light, a display, a sticker with all the specs on it, another handle, and there's a little hole right here. I would imagine that's where your wires come out. To pull off this side panel, it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 to include the handle. These are a number 2 Phillips head. And then the 2 on the handle, which are technically a number 3, but number 2 will work. Alrighty, so on the back side where your wires would go through, that is got a rubber edge, so no chafing or anything like that. We have the 175 amp Anderson connector, and then just your negative and positive wires. And the wires here are silicone. Can't see the gauge or anything yet, but I would imagine they're the same gauge that came with the little wire set that they included, which is 4 gauge. Nothing's loose or anything like that. All that seems to be a nice working order. If we pull off the cover here, There we go. All right, and here is the 300 amp fuse. All that looks to be, you know, great to me. So throw that cover back on. So here's above the fuse, and we have another grommet going inside the battery. All right, over here on the screen, you turn it on by the little power button right over here on the right-hand side. And once that's powered up, the start screen or the main screen tells you how much current you're drawing or charging, the voltage, the temperature, the time till empty, and then of course your percentage in the big circle. The next page is the status buttons, and then you have your 2 buttons on the top for charge and discharge. You can turn those on or off. It tells you how many amp hours are left in the battery, how many cycles you've done, the max and minimum temperature, and of course your status of the battery. And then if you click on the last screen on the right, which is advanced, it tells you all the voltages of each cell. The green one is the highest voltage cell, and the blue one is the lowest voltage cell. So we do have some hardware if you're going to be mounting into concrete, and of course you get lag bolts if you're going into, you know, wood studs and stuff like that. So that's nice. All right, so you got your brackets right here, your upper and lower bracket. These are going to be what mounts to the wall, and then the battery, you know, kind of hooks right on here. There's 2 of these, and then 2 of these, which are a little bit smaller here. These are side brackets. They're going to go, you know, something like that. The bottom side right there. And you get all the screws and stuff for that too. This is 4-gauge wire, silicone wire, so it's super flexible. All right, and it comes with their standard 175 amp Anderson connector. Other side's got your ring terminals, which will go right to your inverter or, you know, a bus bar or whatever you got. These are about 50.5 inches long, and that's from end to end. All right, next thing we'll do is head over to the website and check out the price and any other options they have, which they do. Actually, if you're looking for a whole off-grid setup, almost identical to what I have minus solar panels, they offer that as well. All right, so over here on the website, the 48-volt Rhino is $6,699. However, if you want to save some cash, you can use my discount code Joe10. It's 10% off, and that'll bring you down to $6,029. If we scroll down here just a little bit, it gives you more information, all the specs, and there's also a spec sheet and product manual that you can download right over here. And like I said before, for the other options, you can actually get this in a whole off-grid kit, whether you're just trying to go off-grid or you're trying to survive the end of the world. Pretty much they have you covered. This particular kit right here comes with 2 48-volt Rhino batteries, one 12,000 watt grow watt split phase inverter, which is identical to the one that I'm going to be using in this video. You get the mounting cart so you can put both Rhinos on there, a parallel bus bar, and some other cabling to get you all connected. And if you're really crazy about being off-grid, they also have this in a 4, 6, and 8 times capacity. If I didn't mention it before, everything comes with a 10-year warranty. Hello everybody, this is Future Average Joe. I forgot to record this. Basically, when I was recording the video, I forgot to say that Big Battery has an app for iOS for this battery. You go to the App Store, type in Big Battery, and download it. It's real similar to the Shaoxing app. My only problem is this is an old iPhone. It's a 6S. That's my only problem. I don't know if it's because it's this old phone or what. I tried it on my old iPad, but it doesn't even show up in the App Store, so this is just too old to use. There is some good news though. You can download the Shaoxing app, which I did, and that's on my iPhone here. It's probably not recommended, but that's what I did, and it does work. And this is what we're going to be using for the rest of the video, if I can get it in focus. You got your charge and discharge on the side, and then it shows all your cell voltages and stuff in here. I did the same thing for the iPad. There you go. It connects just fine. I don't have a screen recording software for this, so I'm going to be using the iPhone for the rest of the video. Boom! All right, I just unhooked the Husky battery. If anybody is curious, I'm still using it every day. And we'll bring over the Rhino battery. And let's hope these wheels are actually rated for this weight. Those wheels are creaking. Alrighty, battery is in place. I put a couple of 2x4s underneath so it can't, you know, teeter-totter or anything like that. But yes, that is temporary. It's just for this video. So the next thing we're gonna do real quick is hook it up to the inverter right over here. Discharge off. I'm gonna turn that off so we can hook up the battery. The covers. we're going to plug in the battery. Should be fairly easy here. Well, a little tough at the same time. And we'll go ahead and turn it on real quick. All right, battery is on. Shouldn't be pulling anything like that because we haven't even turned on the inverter yet. So we will do that and we'll get the inverter set up. And I'm basically gonna do that off of the spec sheet from Big Battery. Minimum on this battery, it says 44.3, so I might go to 46. Setting 13 for this inverter is whenever we want the inverter to go back on to battery. For example, if we were recharging the battery from grid. We're gonna change this to 54 volts. Setting 19 for my inverter is your bulk charge. So this inverter can only go up to 58.4. The maximum voltage of this battery is 58.8. So we're gonna go up to 58.4. Float charge, lithium doesn't really technically need float charge. We're just gonna put it on 57.4. All right, and that is pretty much it. For this first test, I have my solar panels off. Just to prove that, I'll even pull out the fuses. Normally this is already switched over to the inverter, but for this video, you have to unhook everything, put everything back on grid, and then switch it all back over. Now, once you have the battery hooked up, you just leave it in the off-grid mode. All right, so quick explanation. These wires right here come from another sub panel that's on the other part of my house over there. So this is 240 volts coming in, comes into the inverter, does its voodoo magic, comes out through this conduit right here, wraps around the bottom, comes up over to this top over here. The 240 from the inverter comes into these two 60 amp circuit breakers right here. It is turned off because we are supplying my house from the grid so we could do the whole switchover thing. So if you're not familiar how these work, all you pretty much do is turn off your main power, and you're gonna rotate this up, and then you can turn these two circuit breakers on. So it only allows you to power your panel from one source. All right, so here we go, cutting the power. All right, everything is off. We're gonna slide up the lockout and then turn the inverter power on, all right? Alrighty, so now we are not off grid quite yet because we're still coming in through these wires right here, coming out right here, and supplying this right here. What I have to do to go off grid for this test is turn off those two circuit breakers on the bottom of the inverter. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So right now you can see we're sitting at 58.02 volts. All the cells are pretty much 3.62 volts. Off grid test starts right now. All right, and as you can see, there was no flicker or anything like that. Time now is 1:27 p.m. Alrighty, so we are now officially off-grid and the test has begun. We are drawing 14.32 amps right now. We can go around the house and I can show you what is powered. I have a fluorescent light right here, an LED light right here, and an LED light right there. Here, top of the stairs, there's two more. Up here in the kitchen, we just have those two lights right there, one light right there. My cat that needs to be recharged. Obviously, the refrigerator is on. One LED light right there. Furnace is on right now. It's just the blower motor, but we have gas heat, so it really doesn't matter. Drawing 17 amps or 960 watts. Oh, we have the crock pot on, and that is on keep warm. And of course, most importantly, we do have the beer fridge, which is powered as well. All right, so on the side of the battery where the screen is, we're gonna do just a little comparison. So you can see we're drawing 20 amps on the meter here, and it also reflects 20 amps over there. 53.26, 53.26. I mean, this all should match up pretty good. Temperature is 77.1 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously, this one shows Celsius. Over here on the advanced for all the cell voltages, they're all pretty much the same. Delta is 15 millivolts, if you can see it right over there on the side. And of course, right here gives us an estimated time if we continue at 17, 18, 19 amps. All right, so I had to go get some gas in the wife's car real quick, and while I was gone, she started doing some laundry. And we're about 31 amps right now, 32. Kind of varies just a little bit, and 1700 watts. Lights on back here. There's a few more LED lights on over there. Got the TV on, cat's on, which is still around 29, 30 amps. We're gonna do a couple of the customary tests that everybody likes to see or likes to do during these videos. Yes, you wouldn't do this if the grid was really down. You would probably try to conserve as much as possible. Maybe you do need to do some of these things. The first one we're gonna do is the old heat gun. It just says 1500 watts, but there's 2 switches. Test number 1, heat gun on low, 42 amps. All right, I'm gonna go to high. That is 56, 57 amps. Next, what we're gonna do is make a pot of coffee. Now, we're not gonna actually make a pot of coffee. I'm just gonna pour water in the coffee pot and go over the old grounds. So we're at 24, 25 amps right now. All right, go ahead. And that brings us up to 47 to 48, 2400 watts total. What we'll do next is the saw, and then we'll do the air compressor test as well. All right, coffee machine is still going. I'm not gonna be cutting any wood or anything like that because obviously we're inside my house. I don't want the dust to go everywhere. Don't look at the wood that's already cut over there. This saw is a 10-inch sliding compound miter saw. It is 15 amps. Here we go. All right, I think that went up to 70 amps. I'm gonna do it again. I think I saw a little over 140 amps. All right, so I'm gonna plug in the air compressor and we'll do that next. This is a 2 horsepower and 2.5 horsepower peak. It says around 14 amps. So we're pulling 48, 49 amps. Here we go. Problem. I might trip a breaker, but we'll do this too. We can do both. We can actually do both, no problem, while running the rest of the house. That's pretty badass, actually. Coffee pot is done. We're gonna dump it out and start a new one. All right, round 2. All right, 45 amps, 2300 watts. Alrighty, we're gonna go back in time with our microwave here and turn this beast on. We're doing the coffee pot right now, so we're at 47 amps. We're on high this time, not defrost, so we'll go ahead and turn that on. All right, we just only went up to 67 amps, so that actually wasn't too bad. And I'll just let it go for, I don't know, a minute. How about that? Coffee pot or water number 2 complete. Yeah, you can start the next load. 80% state of charge, 52.7 volts. Not too bad. I think we've been running for 2 hours and maybe 20 minutes. I love batteries. I love batteries. Alrighty, I'm gonna turn on the computer so I can reply to some comments and do some editing on this battery power. All right, so here's a quick little in progress update. Time now is 5:41 p.m. So that's like 4 hours and roughly 15 minutes we've been running off grid. All right, so over here on the battery itself, we're discharging at 25 amps. Battery voltage is 52.2 volts, and we're at 60% state of charge. It says we still have roughly 7 hours and 11 minutes if we were able to continue this discharge rate. Okay, no more clothes in the washing machine. Furnace right back here is still running. These 2 lights that are back here, I'm gonna go ahead and shut those off because we don't need to go back there. Oh, she's gonna do more laundry. I was just kidding.
Is that okay?
Yeah, do it all you want. Still have all the lights on the top of the stairs and all of those guys right here. Hey, what are you doing? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lights on in here. Family room, we have 7 lights on. We got a new toaster. We're gonna use it for the first time. 850 watts. All right.
Ooh, that was smooth. And then it felt
we're reconnecting to the BMS. Let me try to reconnect. Going 44 amps right now. Oh, watch out, Horace.
Grab out of me too.
We're gonna do heat cycle number 2. Oh yeah, I can smell it. 47 amps. We've been running the test for 5 hours now.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, I got robbed. What is that? You ready? Dinner is served. All right, here is an 8-hour update. We are at 22%. We're still at 51.5 volts, which I think is out freaking standing. We're drawing roughly 23 to 24 amps. All the cells, I mean, they're still sitting at 3.2 volts. That's amazing. On the screen here, I just want to show this in camera view just so you can see that the little percentage marker here does change color. We're drawing 26 amps. Battery voltage is 51.15, and it says we have roughly 2 hours at this current draw. It says we have approximately 55 amp hours left. It is 2 hours later. Everything is still running. The time now is 11:35 p.m. We're at 9%. We're at 49.9 volts. And I would imagine this is pretty much where we're going to drop off. All right, so over here on the battery, you can see obviously it's telling me we are low and I should recharge the battery. Drawing 19 amps, we're at 49.87 volts. Each cell is at 3.1 volts. So yeah, I mean, we're looking damn good. So we have been running for 10 hours pretty much right now. I'm always in awe of how good these batteries work. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I am. I'm just amazed. Fan-freaking-tastic. Alrighty, anyway, so at 46 volts, the inverter is going to automatically switch over to grid power, which is pretty much in like 1.5 volts. 6 amp hours left. 2%. There it goes. Alright, time now is 12:13 a.m. We are back on grid power. That switched over at 46 volts. Basically what I'm going to do is just leave it for like this overnight. Hopefully if we have plenty of sunshine, we can recharge this battery. And if we don't get that much, then I'll just use the charger from the inverter and we'll try out a few different charge rates. Alrighty, good morning everybody. It is the next day. We are recharging the Rhino battery off of solar right now, and we are recharging at 63 amps. Alrighty, so 20% state of charge. It has been charging for just a little bit of time now, but that's okay. It's given us an estimate of 3.5 hours to full. Voltage is 53.42. Temperature is 85.4 degrees Fahrenheit. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn on the charger from the inverter just so we can raise this up a little bit to see how it handles. Alright, so this should go up to roughly 100 amps. Here we go. Moving on up. And the fan on the inverter is going to kick on. So there we go. There's 104 amps. Alrighty, so fan on the inverter is loud, obviously, so I just had to come over here. We're still charging at 107 amps, and I think over there it said, you know, like an hour or two to recharge it. I think I'm just going to leave it at 107 and see how long it takes. I guess I started that just like, I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes ago. Time now is 12:28 p.m. After, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, I'm going to bring out the thermal camera so we can check for hotness. And if anybody is curious about the solar that I have, we'll just go up on the roof real quick so you can take a look at that. Basically, I have 18 245 watt used panels, and then I also have 6 235 watt used. Those ones are Canadian Solar. The 18, I think they're just an off-brand. I got them used off eBay. Total of like 5.8 kilowatts. And of course, I don't get any sun on those panels until 10:30 or 11 in the morning. I've got a bunch of trees, my neighbor's got a bunch of trees, and really there's just not much you can do about that. All right, time now is 1:35 p.m., 70% state of charge. What we're gonna do right now is hit it with the thermal camera, just see if there's any hot spots or anything like that. All right, so this is the top left corner. We got, all right, so over there, I'm guessing that's where the BMS is at. So we're hitting around 80, I think I saw 95 degrees in there. Here's the top right corner. Here's the bottom right corner where the wires come out. I'm not seeing any hot spots Here's the bottom left. All right, and as you can see, if we go over to the wires, those are around 104. Here is the side of the battery where the Anderson connector is. We saw 123 in there. Here's the other side of the Anderson connector. 128 I saw. Here's the fuse. 134 I saw in there. Alright, so all of that looks pretty damn good to me. Alrighty, we are getting down to the end of the charge cycle here. Now it's saying we're 100% state of charge, but we have just a little bit more to squeeze in there. Cell delta is 39 millivolts, which isn't too bad right now. And on the side of the battery, again, 91 amps, 56.26 volts. Temperature 123.9. Status, we're at the 275 amp hours that we were before. And there's all the cell voltages on here, so we're looking real good. All right, everybody, it is about 5 days later, and I just left the Rhino battery hooked up, obviously, to continue powering my house off-grid. I pretty much just have one word to say about the Rhino battery. Bad ass. All right, 2 words. Alrighty, so the off-grid test started at 1:27 p.m. and then ended the following, night/morning at 12:13 a.m. That was a grand total of 10 hours and 47 minutes. Not too bad. Actually, it's pretty fan-freaking-tastic. Alrighty, so a quick reference on the size of my house. The upstairs is roughly 2,200 square feet. And of course the basement is as well, but they don't count it because it's not finished. Alrighty, so during the test I tried to power things like any regular person would power, just so I could make the test a little more realistic. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown on all the things that we did power. So 2 pots of coffee, or just hot water since I wasn't going to drink coffee again. We powered a saw, an air compressor, the coffee pot, saw, and air compressor, which is pretty badass. I actually thought we were going to trip a breaker since, all of this is on the same circuit over here. But we didn't, so that was pretty awesome. We did the microwave, we did the toaster 5 times. That was only because it was brand new and we were burning off the new toaster smell. A heat gun on 2 different settings. I'm going to just say 20 LED lights. I know those don't really matter, but we had them on. The TV, the furnace, 3 loads of laundry, garage door a couple of times, my computer over here, that wasn't on the entire time, but it was on for, I don't know, 3/4 of the time. 2 refrigerators, and then of course all the phantom power, throughout the house. And we might have even done 1 in the dishwasher, but I'm not 100% sure. So all of that, which lasted almost 11 hours, which I think is freaking amazing. Let's see, all the thermals were great to me. I only checked during the charge cycle. We were recharging anywhere from like 105 to 107 amps. I just left it like that until it was full charge. The outer casing of the battery was probably like 97 or something like that. The hottest thing that I recorded would have been the wires, and those got up to 128 to 134 is the average for the wiring, which doesn't really matter because those wires are rated for 200 degrees Celsius, which is almost 400 degrees, so we're good. All right, so we're gonna do the pros and cons, and to be honest, I don't really have many cons, but they would be my cons. So con number 1 is the Big Battery app. I couldn't get it on my really old phone here, so I don't know if that's technically a con because I had an easy fix. I just downloaded the Shawn app and I could get that to connect. If you have a newer iOS phone, you should be able to get that to connect just fine. The weight of this battery is ridiculous. You're gonna need quite a few people to help you bring it inside and mount it on the wall. However, the manual does state that in here. The other con to that is the handle. It would be great if it had those plastic or rubber things to keep it separated like that, so whenever you pick it up, it doesn't dig into your hand. That would be my other con. But again, if you have like 4 people, it's probably not that big of a deal. Plus, whenever you have it mounted, you're never gonna use these again. Actually, what I will probably do once I get it mounted on the wall, I'm actually probably just gonna remove these And I think that's actually it for cons. I mean, they're not real big cons. So we'll move on to the pros. And there's probably gonna be too many to list, but here goes. It is 14 kilowatt hours. It has more capacity than a Tesla Powerwall 2. I think those are at 13.5. These are at 14. This also has a higher output. I want to say the regular continuous of the Tesla Powerwall 2 is 5,000 watts, and it can surge to 7. This one's normal continuous operating power is 7,500. Let's see, it's cheaper and it's physically smaller. It's lithium iron phosphate, so it's super safe. And of course, if you haven't seen that puncture video I did, you should definitely check it out. It's pretty awesome. I'll have a link to that down below. It comes with a 10-year warranty, which is nuts. Let's see, I mean, it looks pretty damn good. It's super thin, and you could mount these right on the wall. If you have solar, you could technically take your house off grid permanently, I guess, depending on your electrical usage. And like I said before, everybody's electrical usage is different than mine. If a parade of storms roll through, as Ryan Hall y'all would say, and knocks out your grid, you can carry on like normal. And I think that's all I can think of right now. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video, as I have taken up your entire day. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. I'd love to hear any questions, comments, or concerns you might have. Make sure you put those comments down below. Alrighty, so if you're looking to start your journey off grid, or maybe you're preparing to the end of the world and are interested in this battery, or really any battery that Big Battery offers, you can save some cash with my discount code JOE10. It's not required, but it's always appreciated because I do get a small kickback for that, which helps me create these awesome videos. All right, the next video we will probably do on this battery is a teardown video, so if you want to see that and you're not subscribed, well, it's free, but they're probably not going to notify you I uploaded a video anyway. If you liked the video and thought it was helpful, make sure you like that smash button, because they say it helps with the algorithm, whatever that is. And I'll see you on the next one. I could make toast in my new toaster.
Usage 7.4, just to keep it up there.
Oh, there we go, lost it. All right, well, I'm gonna go have to reset those clocks anyway.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. An advanced smart BMF. You ready? Good job.